Pam pam pam. What's up, guys? We're gonna break down why less than 10% of population can be saved. And what do I even mean by saved? Write down a little checklist for you. Let's break it down. Gonna be interesting for you. Saved means building a life and fulfilling your craziest, the most incredible creative dreams that you have in your lifetime. Simple as that. You can be Christian, you can be Muslim, you can be Buddhist, you can be atheist. But your dreams, your goals are the most important things. What you specifically want is super duper important because you affect the life. You create this satisfaction from the life. Satisfaction that is available only for human beings. Animals, they not gonna get it. They live an incredible life, hunting, surviving. Some of them just do the stuff they don't even think. But you, my friend, are a much more advanced creature. So let's treat it this way. Why reasons the reasons why people are gonna fail every single time, why basically 90% of the remaining population gonna remain in the same place. First thing first, fucked up worldview or the background. A lot of people who coming through from very poor families or families, oppressive families, different families, they've got that thing missing. The way they see the world is just not the way it's working. And every time they're trying to escape it, they're pulled down by the practice which I call majority. You know, the greatest way to fail is to do what most people do. Do think what most people think because people think complete nonsense. They think they're weak, they think they need something, they always give up, and they are definitely not a great role models. They live a nice, simple life, which is for some people satisfying, but for you, not likely. You are the guy or the girl who want to do something, memorable, that you will be remembered, something that will change the world in a good way, something that will be related to creation, creating things. That's one of the greatest beauties in our life. How can we sacrifice it for just simple life? Yeah, for me, it's just unbelievable, but for the people who coming from those struggling backgrounds, it's usually it is. Because right now, when they in rush, they all they thinking is about reaching that stage. And when they reach it, just a little bit, they just think, what next? What next? That's why I always tell you, you cannot skip the stages, but you can accelerate through them. So you can live that life on such a deep levels, on such satisfying scale when it comes to your personal feelings, even say basic feelings. Can you imagine how deep you can go? Basic achievements, basic stuff. Go forward. So yes, their worldview, the greatest problem, they won't be able to change it. Even if you tell them and you put it rationally, they're gonna tell you, okay, and do nothing. That's where we go to the stage and problem number two. They don't act and don't understand the value of the time. Through my life, I still realizing how much time I wasted. Wasted on pointless activities, getting angry in those tanks, watching that short form content that I just don't remember and I got nothing from it. Appreciation of your time is one of the greatest and most important signs of maturity. The way you treat it basically defines you. So you see, on this level, schedule, it is something that is absolutely necessary. You won't survive without it. You just won't be able to do a thing. And when it comes to actions, the most important thing is to separate the core actions and the supportive actions. Supportive actions, for example, cleaning up the house, cleaning up the places, doing those, positive habits, what I call positive habits, waking up at the right time. And there I would say core actions. Oh, wow, the pen just flew to the top. Core actions. Actions that directly lead you to your goal. In my case, what directly leads me to the goal? Consultations, working with the people. Those main things. Even content, what I'm doing, it's a supplement, it's a bonus to get more people. Mostly, what is it supposed to be? In-person meetings, consultations, going through the life, and then going forward. Then going scaling, but sometimes. So far, I've got the current stage, which is core action for me at the moment. What's gonna be the core action for you? It's super duper important. And step number three, why people fail. They give up their passion, their mission, their talents. You know, a lot of people, especially on the comp sci class, when I just arrived there, they the only reason they went there is because they wanted to make a decent income. Decent income because IT jobs were making a great money and it was associated like super respectable thing, but they weren't built for that. There was a friend of mine, he told me they had a girl who at the first comp sci class didn't know what is a file on a computer. What are we even talking about? The same thing goes for you. You will be able to fulfill your dreams the best when it comes to following a mission and a passion, your talents. If you go against your talents, if you do something that you are not designed to do, you're cooked. Even when you're gonna force yourself, you'll notice a huge competitive disadvantage. People who like that thing, people who have built that thing, people who did this when they were younger, they're so much better. They gain so much satisfaction, and you get stuck in the loop that you completely do not enjoy. That's why I always tell you, identifying the talents in your career stuff is the most important thing for teenagers to understand where you're going to be good at. For example, let's say you're athletic. You might be successful both in football, both in mixed martial arts, in other physical, huge demanding sports. What's the point of putting you in gymnastics? Absolutely no point. Same thing over there. What we do is so freaking important and underrated. Do it. Do where are you talented? Even if you're not gonna be the best, you will compensate it by loving things and scaling it. Even skills that are not really scalable. I was thinking for a while about how would a veterinarian scale? People who love animals, who like helping them. And I thought by developing their own vet clinic or organizing those marathons, organizing special events, spending some time helping directly to the animals and then going further, teaching people how to notice those things. So everything that you like is pretty much scalable to a certain extent. Then you can just stay in the specific field but work a little differently. Nothing is stopping you. That's the beauty of the life. You can always find the new pathways to extending what you already like. Okay, so we identify what is not exactly working. Let's define what is working. I notice it's the balance between emotional stuff and the execution of your promises and actions that you promised to complete. Why do we, and why do I personally care so much about emotional well being? Because that's freaking important. All your suppressed feelings, they take huge chunk of your energy. Sometimes it might be like 70%, 80%. Imagine 80% of your focus going towards the thoughts about the past, about those existential experience, about being anxious, about thinking how you doom scrolled. Well, that's a giant resource that needs to be used, that needs to be opened up, cleaned up, and applied. And also, what it will give you, what we call the resilience, mental resilience, and ability to quickly bounce back. So, see, I've got it over there. How quick you can recover from crisis. Crises are inevitable in life of pretty much every human being. Every time you try to go somewhere, you will notice that your mindset, your current framework is not exactly working with the levels you are headed to. Our goal is to change it. Our goal is to evolve. We do this to the crisis. Crisis is the fastest way to do this. But the problem is we shouldn't stuck in crisis for long. If it is gonna happen, yeah, disappointing experience, which goes in infinite circles. I don't recommend you. So yeah, summarizing up, energy, mental resilience. Executional stage. It's the stuff that we actually do during the day. A lot of people who I talk to do not do core actions that we described before. They just avoid it, ignore it, because they're difficult, because they're most emotional, they are the most important one. So we gotta stop, avoid it. They do habits. Sometimes you don't need habits, you need to do specific actions with a schedule that are important, that will bring you forward. Simple as that. That's why I decided to break it down into the certain mode, which I call army mode. I absolutely don't like fixed schedule. I absolutely don't like army, but the problem is with this approach, it is actually really effective. When you've got, I would say, the general, inner general, when you've got specific things that you're supposed to complete, and you go in this mode for 1 month. You complete the basics, you're free for the remaining of the day. But the goal is to focus actually on the process. Guys, in our head, we imagine incredible lives, incredible things that are gonna happen, incredible imagination of how we effective, how we complete. This is nonsense. This is something that not gonna exist. Because why? Because it's not existed in actions. Thoughts and actions are two different things. In my case, every time I feel like, oh, I can go non-stop every single day, every time I lose. If I try to, I can go without the schedule, I've got it in my head, I know what I'm supposed to do, I lose. Because every time I sit and analyze my day, if I didn't plan it out, I'm like, what the hell I was doing? So your day is actually breaking into the episodes that lead you pretty much nowhere. That's why I always say we work on the first stage, or in the second stage, or in the third stage. Anyway, the stage that you missed in terms of actions is resolving the emotional issues, so we're gonna get the energy and specific actions. If those things are working together, by completing those actions that you promise yourself, you will be able to see next actions. That's how the actions work. One thing you complete, maybe it was not the most productive thing, but you will able to see three much more useful ones. That's why I always say do not skip the stages. I hope you understood just a little bit from some videos. Sometimes I rewatch this one back in the morning. I was thinking what even I was talking about. But actually, for most people it makes sense, and I'm super happy if it made sense for you. Make sure you'll follow me, and I'll see you in the future videos.